Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at Transform Dental Sleep for What's the Truth About Dental Sleep Medicine Billing Changes? We've got a veritable who's who of panelists. I'm going to introduce them in just a sec. I want to say thank you for being here. Over the nearly 20 years I've been in dental sleep medicine, almost every dental practice that gets into sleep, they get into it from a position of altruism. It's a way to really help their patients live better lives, live healthier lives, and in some instance, save those patients' lives. However, after a dentist has been doing it for a while, there always is the issue of I've got to get paid. It's a business. And what our panelists we brought together today, they're going to answer a lot of the questions that you've submitted on that topic of getting paid, getting reimbursement, um, and then some of the best practices as well as some of the changes that are coming in the future. So, a couple of housekeeping issues really quick before we introduce our panelists. If you're on until the end of the webinar, you will get a CE certificate emailed to you in the next 48 hours. So hang on until the end. We might go a little past the hour answering questions because there are so many of them. But if you're on until the end of the hour, you will get your CE certificate emailed to you in the next 48 hours. Down at the bottom of your screen, you'll see where you can submit questions or participate in a chat. Please type your questions there. We'll try to get to all of them. I'm certain there will be a lot. We've got a few hundred registrants tonight. So we'll try to get to all of those. And this is going to be fun. Submit your questions. And without further ado, I want to introduce our first panelist. Many of you know him. I refer to him as the Oracle of Medical Billing. His name is Randy Kern. He's the founder and CEO of Pristine Medical Billing. And he probably saw more cases last week than most practices will ever see in their career. He also loves baseball. He lies about how fast he can pitch. And but everything else, he's completely honest. Randy, what do you want to add to that?
No, I would nothing much. I occasionally fudge those numbers there, but thank you for adjusting that because there was no way I was still at that number um, at this age. But no, thank you for allowing me to be on and share the knowledge, and I look forward to working with all the participants on the panel.
Great. Thank you, Randy. Thanks for being here. Next, we've got Dr. Kent Smith, who, unlike Randy, is not a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. He is a
No.
Rangers fan. And he probably has, he'll humbly shake his head at this, but he probably has the busiest dental sleep medicine practice in the world, certainly in the US. He has probably seen more cases today than most of you will in the next month. But I want to introduce Dr. Kent Smith. Kent, what would you like to add to that?
I'm far too humble to expound on that. So I'm going to enjoy being here, and hopefully everyone will enjoy and think that this was the best webinar ever.
I'm certain it will be. Next, and it's all because of our next panelist, Laura Couture. Laura is a billing guru over at Brady Billing. So we've got some diversity on the panel here with Randy from Pristine and Laura from Brady. Laura, you've been in a number of different positions in billing and in dental sleep over the years. You want to give us a little more bio? You self-proclaimed book nerd.
Sure. No, I actually was a clinical assistant actually in Dr. Smith's office before I moved over to billing probably about 7 years ago. So I definitely learned from the best. But thanks, Jason, for having me.
You bet. And then next, we have Alicia Crawford, who is the founder, co-founder, along with Dr. Stacy Lehman of Go to Sleep Center, multi-practice, multi-site dental sleep practice here in Phoenix area. She also is the co-founder of the now defunct GoGo Billing. So she also has been deep in the weeds of medical billing over the years. Licia, what am I missing?
um, yeah, that picture was never meant for anybody to be seen. I want to put that out there, and then somehow it's become like my thing.
Well,
so,
there it is. Okay.
Ta-da. Here we are. So this
All
will
right.
be the best webinar ever, no doubt. I feel sorry for anybody who's not here. Let me just say that.
And don't ever change that picture.
No, I think
Don't
it's
go
great.
changing.
It's my
All
Texas
right.
guns blazing.
Great. And then my name is Jason Tierney, along with Elias Kalanzis. I'm the co-founder of Transform Dental Sleep. We host the Transform Dental Sleep Symposium in Scottsdale. And I wrote a book by that same title, Transform Dental Sleep. It's not a page turner like Kent Smith's novels, but it's out there, it's available. So with that said, again, be on till the end. We'll get to keep your questions coming, be on till the end, and we'll send your C certificate in 48 hours. Here we go with the questions. The first question is, as a Medicare non-participating provider, this is a three-part question, and we're going to start with you for part one, Randy. Can that dentist balance bill?
Yeah, I don't like the term balance billing or surprise billing and that, but yes, you can bill up to your charge amount. So whatever Medicare pays, if you're not accepting assignment on that, that's the way we advise it. So you don't accept assignment on it, and then you can charge the patient up to your charge amount.
Got it. Laura, what if they have supplemental?
So typically, if you're not accepting assignment and you're a non-participating provider, then the supplemental will come back and pay what's called the excess charge. So the difference between what Medicare pays and what was billed. If you're a participating provider and you accept assignment, then it's going to pay the remaining 20% that Medicare does not pay.
Got it.
And
then
sometimes I'll have to charge amount.
Say that again, Randy.
And sometimes all the way up to the charge amount.
Got it. And then Randy, can they treat Advantage Care patients differently?
You don't want to. So as a Medicare replacement plans, Advantage Care plans, we've done it. We've changed the way we teach our practices to bill those now, anyways, because they were paying at such a low rate, and it was hard to challenge, and the recourse was bad. So we bill, for the most part, almost all Medicares as non-accepting assignment. So our providers are non-participating and bill not accepting assignment. And then we about a year ago, we shifted on that because the reimbursements, the allowables were 600 or 800 for some of the Aetna plans, and the recourse was terrible. We'd go back and forth with them. So we decided just to advise our practices to to treat that patient exactly the way we were anyways, not accepting assignment. And then again, going back to the first question, the balance bill. So if Medicare Advantage plan does only allow 600, you could still charge the patient up to your charge amount.
Got it. Licia, Laura, anything you want to add to that?
Nope.
No. I mean, I am nicer to my supplemental patients. I treat them differently. I'm kidding. Okay. I'm kidding. I feel sorry for the Advantage Care patient.
Real quick, we've gotten a couple of questions coming in, or a couple of comments coming in. Randy, can you possibly maybe turn your mic up or move closer to the mic?
Sir.
I know you've got a lot to say, so we got to make sure they can hear you.
Flip it on.
All right. While you're clipping on your tie, your mic, let's go to the next question, which this is sort of an amalgamation of a lot of the questions that were asked. There were many, many questions about the K code. So if it's all right, Kent, let's start with you. If you could give kind of an easy breakdown of the differences between E0486 and the K code, when they should use each of them, if they can use both of them. What's been your experience there?
Yeah, there are some insurances that pay well with the K code, some that pay pathetically. So far, we actually had one Medicare policy. We billed the K code accidentally, and they paid over $5,000 for it. But do not expect that. Okay. Blue Cross, pathetic K code payers. We have good results with UHC, Cigna, and Aetna. But if you bill a K code, it cannot have hinges. Cannot have hinges. So just make sure it doesn't have hinges. If you bill the E code, it can have hinges or it cannot have hinges, depending on the policy. So it's rather confusing. You have to just, and it's going to be different in your area than we see in Texas, for example. So you just have to test out both. I would encourage you to test both codes with all insurances and see what happens.
That sounds like a cowboy approach.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
The only thing I
Giddy
would
up.
add, the only thing I would add to that is make sure, yes, you can bill both, but not at the same time. So bill one or the other with some of the plans. Just my take on it so far here in Arizona, Blue Cross Blue Shield, we don't bill it. Same. United Healthcare, we do. We are in network with United Healthcare, and our E code has pretty low reimbursement. But when we bill the K code, they process and allow for it, and they allow a percentage of what we bill. So we actually get paid a higher reimbursement on that K code, which is great because it is typically a non-hinged, more expensive appliance. So we do a lot of, almost all of our patients, United Healthcare, are going to get the K code.
Now, I'm not sure the K code is correct on the screen,
I was going to
though.
mention that too.
Oh,
I think it's 1079.
yes. K1079. Thank you. Good catch. We've got some medical billers on here.
That was a test. You guys.
I thought it was.
Yeah. Wait, real quick, can you go back to that, Elias? Other than the non-hinged aspect, what differentiates the K code from the E code by definition? Randy?
I would say the same thing. It's the non-hinge, not having the hinge on there. So that's not a requirement in the K code.
Okay, and then do you have any views on what the future looks like for either of those codes?
I do a little bit. So like Kent said with Cigna, I just had Kyle tell me that eviCore, who does the pre-authorizations for Cigna, does most of those. They've added that to their policies. And Joseph on our team is also seeing, he does a lot of the contracting for us. He's seeing that the insurance carriers are starting to allow that and price that out with our contracts as well. So I'm waiting for Medicare again. I know Kent said, be very wary with that. But I'm waiting for Medicare to actually put that in their LCD. And then I think it's going to be even more clear. But the good news is a lot of the private carriers are moving forward with it.
And Ken, when we're talking about a hinge, can you just be a little more, we've got a question about that. Can you just be a little more specific about what you're referring to?
Well, I would actually like some help from the panel because I'm not sure if it means hinged or PDAC because the policy says hinged, but I don't know if that's gray right now. Like for example, can you do a Panthera, for example, on a K code? I don't know.
So Panthera is PDAC approved,
but under
right.
486, I believe, right?
Oh,
but it's not
right.
hinged.
So I think that's a great point. There's a lot of confusion, Ken, with that. Because people get confused on the K code if it's a PDAC approved. So there's two different things here we're talking about. Some of the insurances. Do you mind if I go and say this?
You go.
Keep going. Yeah.
So some of the insurances do require PDAC approved, and then you have to go to the PDAC listing and see which K codes are approved if you want to use a K code. If it's say United Healthcare, UMR, they're going to follow Medicare guidelines. and you're going to want to use a PDAC approved appliance. So you want to go to the PDAC list and find the K code of the appliance, find the appliance you want for the K code on that PDAC approved list. Some of the blues that are administered by Carelon, they're going to require PDAC approved appliance. So do the same thing. So with United Healthcare, UMR, and blues, pay attention and go to that PDAC approved list when you're choosing your K code. If it's not that, if it's not one of those insurance, if it's Cigna or Aetna, or they don't an insurance that doesn't require PDAC approved, then you can use the K code. And the coding description basically just says a non-mechanical fixed hinge in the code in the K1079 coding description. So you can choose whatever you want that's not PDAC approved as long as it's not a mechanical fixed hinge.
Okay, can you also clear up for me, because I'm using the code K1027. So
yes.
The 79 thing is confusing me.
Then maybe I got it wrong. It's the K1027. Yeah.
It's 1027. It is. Yeah. So for everyone on, it's K1027. Sorry, it started with my typo and then it cascaded downward. So it's K1027. And also, we got a message from someone with Panthera that said Panthera Classic device is E0486 and the X3 is K1027.
Oh, there we go.
There you go. You changed it. Nice job.
That's what I have on the screen.
Quality.
Just like that.
All right.
History's being rewritten.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thanks for everyone for weighing in there. This is another one that there were a lot of questions that came in, kind of asking different things. So we merged them together into what you see here on the screen. A lot of dentists said they wanted to start getting referrals from the VA, and they were curious about whether they should sign up with one of the companies that can do that for them. A couple of two different companies were mentioned. We left their names out, or if they should actually just take action to become community care partners. Let's start, if it's okay, Kent, if we could start with you, Dr. Smith. What would you opine there?
Well, I need to start out with saying I am not a VA expert. So Don't take very much I say as truth. However, I will say that is very difficult on your own. Now, speaking in the Dallas area, so we just got, and I've been trying for 15 years to get in with the VA, and we just got a refusal letter from VA West. This was about a week ago that said, well, no, we have enough providers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We can't accept you. So we have had zero success on our own. I have not yet tried with one of the companies. So I don't know. Probably somebody else needs to speak to that, because I am familiar with the companies that do that, but I don't know who has had success and what everyone else can say about that.
Yeah. So let's, if we can, pass the baton over to Alicia. I don't think you've used one of those companies either, but you see a lot of VA referrals. Can you just kind of talk about your pathway from no VA referrals to a lot of VA referrals?
Yeah, absolutely. We went to the VA and asked to be part of the community care program because there was a patient that wanted to see us that had VA benefits. So we weren't in it. We knew nothing about it. And so that patient actually got us in touch with somebody that could help us. And we basically applied to be a community care provider. I do know that things are different in states, and so it's probably not the same for you, Kent. When we did that, we had to fill out a bunch of paperwork. It's kind of like a credentialing process. And how it first started was...
I'm going to interject for a moment. When you say we had to fill out a lot of paperwork, does that mean that you all did it yourselves?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we also had GoGo Billing, so I also want to preface that I've got a stellar team of paperwork experts.
Yeah.
And, so they got to work on that. And
I'm going
when
to
we first,
interject one more time, real quick. I'm sorry, Alicia. Randy, Laura, just quickly, if a dentist comes to you and says, we've got this paperwork, is that something that either of you can help a practice with?
I'll let Laura go.
No, we don't do any VA credentialing right now. Now, am I opposed to it? No, I'm not opposed to doing it, but we don't currently do it.
Okay. Randy?
Yeah, we do it.
Okay.
And just I'll add to it when Alicia's done, but yeah, we do it.
Cool. Okay. Alicia,
Okay.
you're saying, sorry about that.
That's okay. So like I was saying, when we first got into the system, we weren't allowed to submit claims. They gave us a PO, or purchase order. So basically, they sent us a referral with a purchase order that literally had a credit card number on it, and we would see the patient, deliver the appliance, run the credit card, and give them the information. After doing that for about 2 years, they basically said, okay, now we're not doing that anymore. Now we want you to submit claims. So it's nothing that we did. They approached us, and I said, great, this is awful. This stinks, because it was nice to have this kind of, credit card number. So then we got into the system, and now we submit claims like we would Medicare or any other insurance, and they're processed and paid. They also have a portal, which was really extensive, getting signed up with that. I mean, they want your firstborn, prick of blood, all that fun stuff. So, we are really thrilled that we are, VA providers. Like, we're really honored to treat these patients. So I would say, if you can use one of the companies, if you can't get in on your own and you can use one of the companies and at least start a relationship, I would do it, because, these guys need your help, and these gals, and it's really rewarding work. So, I would try to get in any way you possibly can, personally.
Excellent. Appreciate that. Randy, you want to piggyback
Yeah.
on that with something?
Yeah, just real quick. You mentioned a couple companies that are using the VA and helping practices get in with the VA. I think those companies are using the VA as leverage to get their these practices to do a lot of other things, lock them into contracts with other billing, use certain appliances, things like that. And I don't think that's fair. I don't agree with the way that they're approaching those practices to leverage the VA. They don't need to do that. It's kind of a scare tactic to these dental practices, like, hey, you have to use our program to get into the VA. That's not accurate.
Right.
We get VA contracts 4 or 5 a week right now. The VA is open. They're reaching out to us in certain areas. They're not difficult to get. It is the paperwork, but we're doing them, at half the cost that we normally do contracts, because it's easier than doing an Aetna contract or a Cigna contract. So I would advise, yes, I would highly recommend helping the veterans and helping these people that need help. But I'd also advise that you don't have to get locked into 10 other, programs in order just to get a VA contract. It's not difficult at all.
Yeah. Wow. So, Kent, I think you need to call Randy.
Yeah, I know.
Get that figured out, because, I think, just to kind of piggyback on that again, anytime there's another party involved, that's just one more hand, needing to get
taking a piece of it.
Taking a piece.
Taking a piece of your hard work.
Yeah, that's just, and they're facilitating it, and then they step off, and then, you're getting a fraction of what you could be getting. Or, like you said, they're paying your lab fee and you're getting $100 or something silly like that. So don't do anything like that. That's a bad idea.
So I think the key takeaway here is there are services out there that can do it for you. Randy, you guys manage that over at Pristine. There are some others out there too. But you can also do it on your own, as you all did, Alicia, right?
Sounds good.
So
yeah.
it's not an all or nothing. There are options available.
And the reimbursement's good.
Yeah.
I think these companies jumped on when the reimbursement was like $5,000 or $5,200 just in the last month, 6 weeks, VA came out with a national scale, and it's right around 2,600 now. So reimbursement is still very fair.
Yeah, totally fair, especially if somebody's not trying to take a piece. And you know, it bills much easier. Like when you get the referral, if the sleep study is 5 years old or it's 2 years old, or none of that matters because they're under the care of you know, their physician through the VA, and if they order it, they're good. So as far as billing goes, it's the easiest to.
Yeah, it's
to
a great
bill
point.
and
We
get
actually
paid.
give our clients a $45 discount on all their billing for the VA to, one, help the veterans and help our practices help the veterans, and two, because like you said, Licia, we're allowed to do that because there's less work.
Way less work. Yeah.
And
Wonderful.
one thing that might be important to understand is that the VA is the payer, but the third-party administrator is either Optum or TRICARE. It depends on your area. I've had some dentists that tell me that when TRICARE was paying or they were administrating, they didn't get as much, but then when they moved to Optum, they're getting more. So there's still a lot to learn about this that I think over time we're going to learn more. But again, I'm not the expert, but that part I do know that VA is the payer, but there are third-party administrators.
Correct. Yeah.
And
They're actually changing that this year or early in the next year as well. Early in the next year. Yeah.
Well, let's take that. Licia, you mentioned unfairness. You just mentioned Change. What is the status of Change Health? And when can dentists anticipate the payment delays being resolved? Licia, let's go with you there.
So you've heard me crying at night, looking at my bank account dwindle while the bills keep going up. Yeah, so Change Healthcare got cyber attacked and ransomed for 22 million, and they paid it, and everything got, you know, just ground to a halt. Things are getting back on track, so we are absolutely at this point able to get our claims on file. I just got notice that, and VA was one of them that was just. So we actually did just get some VA payments. United Healthcare, you know, was kind of coming through the whole time, and so was Blue Cross Blue Shield, but the ERAs weren't coming through. So I think we are on the other side of it, and it's just been, you know, a lot of extra work and stress on my billing team trying to like make sure these claims are on file. And of course, with posting, not having those electronic posting, doing everything manually.
Yeah, and Kent, you look like maybe you're smiling to keep from crying. What would you add to that?
I mean, it hurt. There's no question. We were well positioned to handle it, so we made it through. But there was a dip, and we heard that Medicare was affected as well. So I don't know that. Now, if you use an EMR software, you know, usually they will hold your hand through this and they'll help you out, and even Change Healthcare was willing to help you out. But I think we're past most of that stuff, so I don't think there's a lot to worry with at this point. At least I hope not. But what really worries me if they got hacked, I mean, what else? What's around the corner? And we have to be prepared for that.
Yeah, it's a stress.
Sure. It certainly highlights the vulnerability of all of our systems.
Yep.
Laura, what about some payers requiring patients before they get Inspire that they try an oral appliance? Can you speak to which payers that is and whether or not you actually see that happening?
So it's hard to tell if we see that it's happening just because we are in the oral appliance arena, right? So I do think there are some patients that are trying to get Inspire therapy that are having to back up and actually try to go to oral appliance therapy before they go to Inspire therapy. I do know that United Healthcare was one of them that is starting to require them to have oral appliance therapy. And I believe that maybe Cigna also was one of them that was starting to require that they have oral appliance therapy before then. But I mean, I guess this is a great opportunity for you to get a lot of referrals from your ENTs because a lot of them are doing Inspire and now they're kind of having to back up a little bit and start to consult with their dentist a little bit more. So I think that maybe that'll help with some of the referrals a little bit. I can't be for sure, but I think that they'll all follow suit eventually. They're all gonna decide that they have to try oral appliance therapy first.
Kent, how do you, I mean, how is your team, your marketing team managing that with local ENTs?
I mean, we have a little different experience because we see Inspire patients. We do the activations and the follow-ups, and I am encouraged though. Okay, I don't need any comments from Lisa.
The peanut gallery just snorted. Did you
What
hear
about,
that?
I was going to say, what about snorting? Is that?
That's a side effect of Inspire, I'm told.
Yeah. I just turned my remote on.
We've had 2 local reps that have left the company. We just this morning got an email from the second rep that said, well, my last day is this Friday. It was good working with you, yada, yada, yada. So I kind of hope they're going away, but it's just nothing but trouble. And I wish I could tell you that we've just seen a ton of referrals from ENTs at this point, but we have not.
Okay.
I've seen one patient specifically who wanted Inspire that insurance denied it, and it was UHC. Denied his Inspire because he didn't try an appliance and he was sitting in our office to try an appliance. So I've actually seen it in real life. I didn't know that Cigna was going to be doing that, so that's cool. But we're always getting referrals from ENTs for patients that just were like, "Ooh, I don't want that." Once they found out what it was, so I don't think we're going to get more per se. You know, I don't know. I think because the insurance is requiring it, I take that back. I guess we are going to get more. It would make sense because it's $60,000, isn't it? I mean, what are you guys charging over there, Kent, for an Inspire?
No, we're not placing Inspire.
Yeah. I'm trying to catch up to you. I'm always like, I'm going to catch up to you, and then you're placing Inspire over the weekend. Like,
no,
never going to happen.
It only pays $40,000, so we're not in yet. No, it's not worth it.
Randy, what about yourself? I mean, do you have any insights there? I mean, because you're billing for so many clients nationally, anything you're seeing trends that you can share?
No, not too much. I mean, I know a rep with Inspire. I know that they were requiring oral appliance or PAP therapy first. That obviously the insurance is going to do what, require the less expensive before they go into the Inspire treatment. But I don't have much to add there.
Okay.
I hope it kind of stays because it helps us leverage better pricing for contracts in theory. Whether it does or not, I don't know. But if we're trying to get contracts and the alternate to CPAP is Inspire at $40,000 or oral appliance at $2,500, it makes sense for the insurance to use that as an alternate to PAP therapy versus going straight to Inspire.
I couldn't agree more. All right, let's move on to a quick mention of the Transform Dental Sleep Symposium. This is the 2025 event. Everyone here but our orphan friend Laura was at the 2024 event.
Way to call me out, Jason.
Well, sorry, Laura, we were sold out. You had to sit outside.
Next time I'll be there, I promise.
The velvet rope, you couldn't get past it. Sorry, Laura, maybe next. But it's being held January 31st and February 1st in Scottsdale. For everyone that was there, you know it was a fantastic meeting. We're doing it again. We just announced today our preliminary roster of speakers. Uh, we're going to add many, many more, but we've got Stacy Ochoa, Jameson Spencer, Ryan Seuss, speaking of ENTs and Inspire. He is a pioneer there, and he'll actually be speaking, sharing the stage with Dr. Nicole Shanae, who Dr. Seuss is an ENT, Dr. Shanae is a dentist. They work closely together with patients, referring patients back and forth. So we were talking about Inspire and the impact dentists can have there. They'll be speaking on that very subject, talking about how they jointly manage those patients. But we're going to continue to add to this speaking roster. We're also going to do something different that this year we're going to have on Thursday, the day before the meeting, so January 30th, we're going to have three very limited availability exclusive workshops. One on medical billing, which Randy Curran and Pristine Medical Billing will be hosting. Another on marketing, which our friends over at Sleep Apnea Leads will be hosting. And then a third on pediatric sleep disorder breathing, which our friends at ASAP Pathways will be hosting. So more to come on that soon. If you're thinking, I don't know what I'm going to eat for dinner tomorrow, how am I going to know what I'm going to do in 2025? I'm telling you, you snooze, you lose. For everybody that was there this year, you know that we sold out legit. We couldn't have any more people there. Fire code. So register now at tdssymposium.com. Also, Randy and Pristine have a special offer. Randy, you want to share a little bit about the robust discount you're offering, more than you ever offer any other time? You want to share a little bit about what that entails?
Yeah, like we've touched on a little bit with the VA, but a lot of the insurance companies are now opening up their networks for dental sleep medicine. We've had Regents create a network up there in the Northwest. We see Cigna, they've been doing it for quite a while now. Aetna's starting to open up their doors. So I think we processed over 150 contracts last year. We have, I think, 200 and something in the process right now. So we're really trying to help our practices build long-term growth and be able to sustain growth by going in network. And again, it's not a dental contract. This is a dental sleep medicine contract for the most part. And if you look at the successful, both of the panelists on here today are in network, and most of the successful practices are at, eventually get in network. So we're trying to help expedite that, help the practices build a lot of equity in their practice by having their own contracts. And we're offering $300 off. So typically it's $700 up front to start, and then $500 on the back end when they get the contract. And right now it's only $400 up front. And so they only have their skin in the game as far as $400. We won't take a contract if we know that network is closed or that area is closed. So it's a good deal for them to get in at $400. And then once they execute the contract, sign the contract, we charge them $500 on the back end. So that way we also have the motivation and skin in the game to ensure that they do receive those contract offers. So it's a really good deal. It honestly is the best deal that we're offering.
Yeah, that's a stellar deal. And to save $300, I mean, to think, what the outcome can be, if you do get them in network, and when you do get them in network, and how profitable that can be, how many more people they can help, how much easier that makes the conversation with the patient, all of that. This is money well spent. So thanks for offering this discount to attendees. Elias has shared that information in the chat. One other thing before we do this, Laura, Elias earlier shared in the chat Brady Billings' contact information. Do you want to just share it real quick with everybody on, how can they contact you and learn more about Brady?
Yeah, so the best way to contact is via email, which is just my first name, Laura, at bradybilling.com. We have no association with Tom Brady, by the way. So don't get too concerned about that. Or the website is bradybilling.com. I can also give the phone number. That's 844-424-5548.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. And then, yes, I wrote this book called Transform Dental Sleep. I'm not here to tell you to buy the book. Whether you have read it, whether you bought it, whether I gave you a copy, whatever, what I do want to ask of you, I know that more than 2,000 copies of this book have been purchased. But on Amazon, there are only about 50 reviews. Now, I want to ask you personally, all of you that are on here, after this webinar, to please just roll over to Amazon, spend 3 minutes and write 3 sentences, leaving an honest, candid review with your feedback about the book. It would really help me a ton. I'm trying to catch up with Kent, and I'm writing a second book right now. And the more reviews that I can get over there on Amazon, the more it'll help with the launch of the next book. So I'm asking you for a personal favor. If you could do that, I'd appreciate it. And while you're at it, pick up Kent's books over there and read them. And maybe you might even find yourself as a character woven into one of them, and then go over there and review it too. Cool. Let's jump back in. This is another question that's sort of a bunch of inquiries rolled into one. How legitimate are the third-party groups that dentists can join in order to bill in network under the group's NPI? Randy, let's roll with you. Can you tackle that?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of them are very legitimate. There's some red flags you'll see with those. I get the concept of it, and that was very challenging for dental practices in the past to get in network. So they were kind of forced to kind of, go down this avenue. But anybody in the last couple of years, there's no way they should be using a third party group instead of building their own practice. I call it appliance vending machines, because they're basically just turned into an employee of this group. And if you're using this third party group and you're billing under their NPI number, and they're billing on your behalf and you're sending them patients, what happens in 3, 4, 5 years if they're no longer around after you've built up your practice? And then what value are you building for your practice? If you get your own contracts, like Kent Smith, like Licia here, you get your own contracts, you can 100% control your destiny. Nobody else is controlling your destiny. You control your destiny. So, and you'll be able to sell that someday for millions of dollars, because you're going to build up your referrals. You're going to be in network. The physicians are going to work with you a lot more as an in-network provider versus an out-of-network provider. And you truly will build equity in your dental sleep medicine program in your practice. Versus, if you're using these third parties and billing through their service, what equity are you building? You're just an employee at the end of the day. You're not building anything for yourself. And there's no reason to do that now. Not to mention, a lot of the stuff that they do, I don't agree with. They don't share EOBs. They change dates of services. I've seen a lot of this firsthand through EOBs and phone calls that have come into us mistakenly. And so a lot of these third-party groups, I don't think they're doing things the right way, and I don't think dentists know that they're doing things in this particular order, or billing for certain codes. And why are they afraid to share EOBs? Why are they afraid to bill, federal plans like Medicare? Why won't they bill Medicare? I mean, there are red flags that dentists should be aware of. So either way, whether it's legitimacy of, billing the right codes, or if it's just a dental practice becoming just an employee of theirs because they think they can't get in network, but they can get in network and they can control their own destiny.
So what I'm hearing is some of these companies might be questionable as far as their legitimacy or legality. Uh, Others, you don't have those concerns, but nonetheless, signing up with a company like that, you're building that company's equity rather than your practice's equity, and it's best to work it on your own.
Yeah, if you look at everybody, and that's a great lineup you have, by the way, Jason. Congratulations. If you look at everybody in that lineup, if you look at everybody that you had speak last year, they're not using these third-party groups. They're successful because they got their own contracts and they reached out to the medical groups and the medical providers with their own contracts. I don't see anybody that's speaking in your venue or other legitimate venues that have used this to be successful. They get their own contracts and they build equity in their practice. And Licia and Kent, they'll be able to make millions of dollars someday for all the hard work they put in. And if they were using a third party to do that, how would they sell that out? There's nothing.
Kent, what would you add to that, or what would you say differently?
No, I think Randy's pretty spot on. I think there are the only struggle I would have is that I know a lot of dentists that do struggle a lot with getting a network. We have it easy in our practice. We have physicians and we're able to bill through our physician contracts because they're part of our practice. But on your own, I know it's difficult. I'm encouraged that Randy said that he has seen some dentists getting in network with Aetna and Cigna, and that's fantastic. I just know, at least in the Dallas area, it's really difficult. So I don't know if Randy is saying that every area you can get a network as a dentist. Is that, Randy, would you say that that's true? Or are there some areas where it would be almost impossible to get a network?
Yeah, you're correct. Some areas are difficult. United Healthcare is difficult across the nation right now. So it depends on the area that you're in. You could probably get contracts for at least two or three in almost every area. And then you kind of wait for those networks to reopen up to get the rest of them. In your state, Kent, BCBS is really hard to get into. So maybe you use something as a stopgap until you get your contract. And I agree with that. Like we even offer some of these type of solutions from dentists helping other dentists while they're waiting for their contract to come in. And BCBS of Texas is is the state and one of those carriers where it's difficult. And again, United is difficult across the nation, but we've made a lot of headway in the last couple of years with this.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a sign of things to come, but we're a member of an IPA, and don't get me to tell you what that is because I couldn't define it. But the IPA, it's somebody that helps you get contracts. This is in the medical world. This is what happens regularly.
Mm.
So an IPA then gets allowables with all the different insurers. And we just got notice today that as of February 1st, Blue Cross rates for EO486 dropped 40%, and the exam codes have dropped. HST codes dropped 55%. So I really am praying that this is not a trend that we're going to be seeing across the board, but I think I needed to at least mention that. Not that any of you are going to become parts of IPAs, but they're out there. And if you have a chance to, you need to vet them completely to make sure that their allowables are better than what you're currently getting. That's probably a little advanced, but thought I'd at least bring it up.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And you said that it might be a little advanced. What I do want to say is that everything everything shared today should be evidence that everyone on here should work with a third party biller. There were a number of questions that were, sort of more novice level questions that came through before the meeting started. And the answer to all of those questions is contact Randy at Pristine or Laura at Brady. Use a third party biller. It will be the best money you have ever spent in dental sleep medicine.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what your opinion on this, if you don't mind, Jason. If we got
Alicia, you got 28 seconds. Go.
Okay, so I think that patient, as far as building your patient base, your referral base, being a network helps you grow. And then there are always going to be these pitfalls and issues that you're going to deal with, and you're going to have to pivot. Blue Cross Blue Shield, for instance, for us, I'm seriously contemplating my situation with them. I'm like right on the edge of like, I just want to get off of Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. Where before I wouldn't even think about getting off Blue Cross Blue Shield because it was such a large patient base. But I've noticed that we're getting less Blue Cross Blue Shield, more United Healthcare. I drug my feet kicking and screaming with United Healthcare. Now I'm fine, and we're getting more patients. So I think the idea is always be willing to pivot, always be evaluating, sorry, that dinging, what's going on in your practice. And there are going to be times where, okay, it's time to get on this plan. And there's going to be times where it's time to get off the ride too. So I really like that point that Randy made of, you're building equity in your practice when you're on these plans. And that, I agree with that. That's true.
Another question. This one isn't in the deck, but does anyone feel like Dr. Smith is getting ready to tell us a ghost story?
A little bit.
It's getting dark here in Dallas.
Yeah.
Another power outage
again. Another eclipse. Where's your tail?
All right.
If you don't be quiet, I'll do this.
now tell the story.
It's like the kid Kent Smith, Exorcist. Okay. This is some of this is tied to things we touched on earlier. But do I have to register with TRICARE to treat TRICARE patients or VA patients? That's kind of a convoluted question. I think that Laura, do you want to take that?
So you don't have to. The contractors are different. So you have a different contractor for TRICARE than you do for the VA. So no, you don't necessarily have to be a TRICARE provider to take VA patients as well. It's two separate entities essentially.
Okay. Anything you would add to that? I mean, any advice for somebody that might ask this question?
Any advice? I would say
if they're trying to register with, go ahead.
I would say become a provider of both, to be completely honest. I mean, TRICARE, actually the reimbursement for TRICARE just dropped, but it's definitely, I mean, about average for the rest of the nation. I think you're probably going to see even a little bit above average. So I would just go ahead and become a provider for both of them, actually.
Okay, we just
got
to
add to that real quick. To be provider with TRICARE doesn't necessarily mean you have to get a contract provider. You just have to be a recognized provider.
Correct.
So with TRICARE, I recommend you become a recognized provider. Every dental sleep medicine practice should be a TRICARE recognized provider. Getting a contract with TRICARE is a little bit different and more difficult. And it's really not needed unless you're really working with, those referral sources that want to send the patients to you. But we're talking about everybody on this call here. You should be a TRICARE provider. TRICARE benefits are great out of network, $350 deductible, 80% coverage. So, and then that you definitely could be a VA provider as well. So we would recommend be a TRICARE provider, whether it's in or out of network, and then also be a VA provider.
Got it.
Yeah, we're TRICARE providers, but not in the network. That's exactly what we do.
It's like Medicare.
A note came in the chat from someone that said VA is now processing through TRICARE.
In certain regions, yes.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think that it's in all regions. And again, I think it has to do with the contractors, because the military has they have like different people propose a contract every year. So you might see that one year it's Humana for the West Coast, and then the next year it might be United Healthcare. So those may kind of line up, but not everywhere in the nation, I believe, is all processing through TRICARE.
Yeah, I feel like this is just a big commercial for get a third-party biller.
Yeah.
All right. So next, how can a dentist appeal or avoid signing a waiver of liability altogether? It seems actually that I didn't want to put it in writing, but what they said is it seems criminal, uh, which I changed to incredibly unfair. Licia, do you want to take that?
Criminal. I
Yeah.
agree.
Okay.
It hurts my heart. And it's happened to us where basically they say, we're going to deny this claim. And if you sign off that if we don't pay it, patient doesn't owe you anything. Um, you're kind of damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So it goes with my basic philosophy of you win some, you lose some. And hopefully you get to the point where you're seeing enough patients that the wins, offset the losses, and it equals out. And at this point, when those come through, we just go ahead and sign it and hope we have a really good case to get paid. Um, so again, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. So you might as well go for the chance of getting paid, because if it doesn't deny, and again, every office is different, but I'll tell you how we handle things. If we say to a patient, we expect your insurance to pay, and we'll do everything on our half to make sure that, all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, that we're submitting everything for you, it should get paid. And sometimes they just go sideways and we don't get paid. I never turn around to a patient and say, "Oh, whoops, the daisies! Now you owe us." I eat it. I don't like to eat it, but I do. So this goes in just exactly with that bucket. Is it criminal? Yep, I agree.
Okay. Laura, 20 seconds or less. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I don't think so. It's definitely criminal. It's super frustrating. And I think the thing is that you have to remember, people who don't know what a waiver of liability is basically you're just saying that if they will not overturn the appeal, then you're not going to charge the patient. So that's why Alicia kind of says that she doesn't ever go back and charge the patient. She just kind of eats that cost for it. But yeah, definitely a criminal situation by the insurance company, usually on Medicare Advantage plans.
Got it. Let's jump to the lightning round.
Dun dun dun.
You
Dun,
always get
dun,
us with these
dun.
questions, Jason.
Here we go. We are going to start with Randy. Randy, are you ready?
I'm
You
ready.
got 12 seconds. What is one thing you wish you could change about dental sleep medicine? You've got a magic wand. What is it?
Remove those third parties taking advantage of dental practices, not allowing them to understand that they can get their own contracts.
Mm, look at that. That was concise.
Woo.
Dr. Smith, 20 seconds or less. One piece of advice you wish you want to give to impart on everyone tonight.
Work with the third party biller.
All right. Licia, name a song that annoys you, like really, really annoys you.
99 balls of beer on the wall, 99 balls of beer.
All
That's
right.
my insomnia song.
All right. Laura, what are three words that define the dental sleep medicine opportunity for dental practices?
Wow, three words that define the dental sleep medicine opportunity for dental practices. Man, that's a hard one. Um,
But you got it because I couldn't have done this one.
Oh no, this one's going to be for everyone. We're just starting with Laura, so you all
really,
can
you could have
you
you
all
could
can
have
stop
given somebody an
listening now.
opportunity.
Okay,
The
we're going to
question's a
come back.
little confusing.
We're going to come back to what. Just give three words for describe the dental sleep opportunity. Licia, go.
uh, it's the cliche. I mean, it is fulfilling work. If I won the lottery, I would still love to do what I do. So
Yeah.
it's wonderful work to help people to see the change. We do make money. We do well. We just want to be like Ken Smith, and he keeps on making it harder. But it's wonderful to have people like Kent, people like us that are kind of leading the way, to make it easier for you guys as you come up and come along. And last would be to define it. We've been we've been talking about, gosh, now I just lost it, where you're at the peak of the mountain or the tip of the iceberg, the pinnacle, yep. Right? Like we've been talking about this stupid pinnacle for 20 friggin' years. And I feel like, okay, we actually might be there with CPAPs dropping and getting more visibility, and offices like Kent and ours just kind of growing. So I think it's a great time for dentists to really take this seriously again, because I think it's going to grow and we're going to be needed more than we ever have been.
Excellent. Laura, you got those 3 words?
Okay, so I'd probably say fulfilling, prosperous, and productive. Can we use productive?
Love it.
Oh, that's how it was supposed to go? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I was going to comment on that.
And then we've got 2 weeks from today, we have another webinar coming up. Same or similar, oral appliance therapy expert panel discussion. This is, in my experience, the topic that dentists want to talk about even more than they want to talk about medical billing, which is differences and preferences regarding actual appliances. So we're going to have this expert panel with Dr. Suzanne Tai, Dr. Stacy Lehman, Sunny Bacala of Apex Dental Sleep Labs, and Dr. Hedgecock. So we've got 3 native Texans down there that are going to be on the webinar. So be sure to sign up. It's 2 weeks from today, same time. We hope to see you there. And
Jason, real quick.
Yes.
Sorry. I just put in the link to register for that next webinar in the chat box.
Excellent. So you can get registered with that link that Elias just shared with you. And then I want to remind everyone to register for the Transform Dental Sleep Symposium at tdfsymposium.com. Randy, you want to tell everyone how to sign up one more time with that special offer that you're giving tonight?
Yeah, just go to pristinemedicalbilling.com and click on services, click on contracting. When you go to the checkout, they'll ask you for a discount code, and then put in TDS 300 to get $300 off. And if you have questions about the contracts, just email us at info@pristinemedicalbilling.com.
Easy enough. Laura, one more time with how to get in touch with you regarding Brady Billing Services.
Yeah, so my email is laura@bradybilling.com. The phone number is going to be 844-424-5548. And then our website is bradybilling.com.
Excellent. And I want to ask everyone one more time to please just jump over to Amazon and review Kent's books and my book as well. It would be a big help to both of us. And I want to say thank you to all of our panelists, and thank you to all of you for being here.
Jason, if I can jump in one more time, my friend, there's a few unanswered questions in there. If we just have a couple more minutes, I can answer one of them real quick because another doctor asked the same question. You do not have to be a Pristine client to get the credentialing, to get their in-network credentialing or the VA credentialing. You don't have to be a Pristine client. So just wanted to throw that out there. And there's a couple other questions in there if we just take a minute.
Yeah, I could stay on as long as you guys want to answer questions.
Yeah, well, Kent's flipping us.
He went sideways.
Yeah. So yeah, this whole thing's going sideways if we stay on much longer. About an hour is good for a webinar. So yeah, we can run through a couple of these questions real quick, but what I want to say is thank you to the panelists for being here. And thank you for all of you for being here. I know there's a bunch of other places you could be right now, a bunch of other things you could be doing. And the fact that you're here is really a testament to your commitment to your patients. And I want to say thank you. You will receive your CE certificate via email in the next 48 hours. Keep an eye out for that. If you don't see it in the next 48 hours, check your spam before you ping me. With that said, yeah, we'll spend if you need to jump off and go live your life, go for it. We're going to run through over the next 5 minutes, just speed round these questions that have come through that we didn't get to. My favorite dentist with a ponytail said, as far as I know, there's no definition of an oral appliance or how long they need to try it. This is regarding the Inspire question and an appliance before Inspire. There's no definition of an oral appliance or how long they need to try it. Will a temporary device qualify for Inspire approval? Randy, any information there?
I don't know Inspire policy, so coverage criteria for Inspire, I'm not familiar with, obviously, because we're
No,
not reauthorizing Inspire.
sorry, with UHC in particular, that a patient has to have an oral appliance before Inspire. There's no definition, I guess, of an oral appliance. So will a temporary device like an E0485 qualify? Will that satisfy that requirement?
Again, I don't know the coverage criteria for it, so I don't know their policies. I would assume, like PAP, they don't have a time frame, but I don't know whether they require it to be an E0486 or an E0485. I would have to research their policy to know that.
Yeah, I've thought through this, Jason, and I think it's not unlike us with our trials of CPAP in the past. So if we tell them, yes, the patient has tried CPAP, it might not have been with their insurance company, could have been with another one. The claims usually go through. So I think that they're going to employ the same way, and I can't blame them for doing that. So I don't even think they have to show proof.
Probably just documentation from a medical doctor that they've tried and failed.
Got it. What other codes, Kent, do you, or actually, let's go with you, Alicia. What other codes beyond E0486 and the K code do you bill for oral appliance therapy?
So
for oral appliance patients?
Sure. If they breathe, we bill it. That's our motto. We learned that from Kent Smith. Randy told me that wasn't what I was supposed to do, but we don't listen to Randy anymore. So the new patient exam, the appliance, of course, the follow-up visits. We did have a CBCT in one of our offices, and we billed that with great success. We no longer have that machine, but if you do have Pano, CBCT, you can definitely bill that. Sleep studies, we bill the technical component. Now we have a medical director, and he is actually reading those studies, and so now we can bill them out with them being interpreted. So absolutely, if you have the home sleep study equipment and you're using it, you can bill that out. And again, now that we have a medical director and a physician assistant, again, trying to catch up with Kent, it keeps running. We can bill their consultation and the initial sleep studies now as well, because we have that documentation. So quite a bit.
All right. Laura, are there other codes that you advise practices to bill for?
No, not that I can think of. I think Licia covered the majority of them. I know there's some codes that we kind of try to stay away from, at least at Brady Billing. Like some of those impression codes just don't meet the definition of what is actually being billed. So we try to stay away from some of those codes, the 21110, the 21085. But I mean, obviously, as a billing company, if you want to bill them, have at it. We just kind of try to stay away from those codes.
You know, that brings up a question that a couple people asked actually previously was Randy. They were asking about billing for AM aligners. Anything you want to add? You want to share there?
You said we only have 5 minutes.
Yep. Go Randy.
Yeah, I agree 100% with what Laura just said. I agree with the codes that Alicia said. I don't recommend using those 21110s, 21085, 21089. Those are surgical billing codes, so there's no surgery being involved here. So I don't recommend billing those. Strongly don't recommend billing those. As far as the AM aligner, I know that some people do use that one of those codes for an AM aligner. I don't recommend billing the AM aligner. If you were going to bill it, you'd use a DME miscellaneous, like an E1399, but that's not worth the trouble. I would just recommend with the AM aligner charging the patient cash for that.
Got it.
And there's a question in here that says follow-ups. Do you mean after the 3-month period? With Medicare, yes, we don't bill those follow-ups to Part B until after 3 months. If there are any, usually they're not. But with commercial plans, we do bill the follow-ups before the 3 months. And if it's in their specific policy, then it's up to them to figure out if it's included or not. So it's kind of a 50-50 draw. Some of them allow for it and some of them don't.
I might add that we also bill some RPM codes. We hand out pulse oximeters for patients who have a T90 greater than 2%. That's just the policy in our office. So we hand out those pulse oximeters, and we're able to bill some RPM codes for those. So there are some other ways, some other methods of revenue in a practice. If you have a pharyngometer rhinometer, you can bill those codes. Those are legitimate codes.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, some of those, the pharyngometer rhinometer, some of those still come back as experimental investigational from what we see. So, but yeah, they're legitimate. I don't disagree with billing those at all. Just understand some will pay, some won't. Just depends on the policy and the carrier.
Yeah, you mentioned RPM codes, Kent. I mean, with these a few of the device manufacturers coming out with chips that measure a number of different channels. Do you have any? I think ProSomnus actually applied for a code.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, can you kind of share what your prediction of the future looks like there?
Oh, I don't think there's any question that we're going to have, as far as remote patient monitoring with those new monitors that are going to go into ProSomnus and SomnoMed both are working on it. Don't know when they're going to be out. But I think, we've been testing those codes with our pulse oximeters. So it's not a lot different, the codes that we'll be using when we have the monitors in place. Okay. But they're more legitimate because they're looking at more than just the oxygen. So I'm looking forward to those. I don't know what their financial model is going to look like and how they're going to charge for that and how we can charge the patients for it. But I think the future is exciting as far as technology inside the appliances.
Yeah, agreed. It's
Agreed.
It's something that for many years we've heard that it's potentially an equalizer, and as Alicia mentioned earlier, with the PAP recall and just so many developments over the last maybe 5 years, this could really become sort of a great equalizer. So I'm more excited about it than any time in the past. And certainly, like you mentioned, ProSomnus, SomnoMed are making great headway in getting those products to market. So it's very encouraging. It really makes me very bullish about the future of dental sleep medicine.
Yeah, and when a paper comes out like it's just about to get published that shows appliances decrease blood pressure better than CPAP, I think you're going to find some amazing opportunities for us.
Yeah. Undoubtedly.
That and the one about the heart disease and the pressurized air. Not to go off on a huge tangent, but when I never even thought about the fact that CPAP's blowing air and your body isn't designed to have, that reverse vacuum cleaner, shoving air down your airway, and the heart and the lungs aren't responding well to it. And that's one of the newest reports coming out. So I feel that pinnacle we're getting there.
It's the tipping points.
The tipping points.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm looking for?
Right.
I don't know.
There was a question that came in, and I was going to ask Kent the same question here because I know he has physicians working with him under his practice. To be clear, some of those RPM codes are based more for the physicians, and some of those RPM codes are based more for the DME providers. Correct, Kent?
That's a really good question that I don't think I can answer. I wish I could definitively give you an answer for that, but since we're billing with our physicians, but I know a lot of people are billing it. So whether it's legit or not, and I say a lot, there's not that many, but RPM codes have been around for a long time. And, we're billing medical codes ourselves. So I don't know that it would be restricted to physicians, but I'm not going to tell you one way or another.
All right. With that said, everyone, get a third-party biller, hug your loved ones, and we'll see you at our next webinar in 2 weeks. Everyone, thank you. Dr. Smith, Randy, Licia, Laura, thank you so much for everything you do to help dentists. You're sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience. You didn't have to do this, and we really appreciate you doing this. So thank you. Mwah.
Thanks, Jason.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Jason.
Take care, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Nice to see
All right.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.